Hey, today's lesson is going to be brought to you from what we call, or I call, well, my whole family calls it, the Guitar V. The license plate for my RV, which is what I'm in right now, is Guitar V. It's an RV, but we use it for guitar. So I actually use this for my practice. I practice in here quite a bit, and of course, when we go camping or go on the road, I practice in here. A lot of times I'll use the studio that I have at the house, which is located out in the backyard. It's a little two-story shed that's really decked out really well for recording and things. Great place to teach. Great place to produce videos. However, at the present time, my daughter uses it because there's a full-on narration booth in there, and she narrates books for authors all over the world. So, in other words, I got kicked out, and I go to the RV for this. But it worked great for me, as you can tell. It's a pretty good little operation here. So today's video, what I'm going to talk about is the best way to hold a guitar. Okay, and I know I'm using a classical guitar here. A lot of you are playing electrics, and it's really no different either way. It's all about getting your hands on the guitar. It's all about adapting the guitar to your body, not the other way around. So a lot of us, myself included at times, I was raised the same way. We see players sit and play like this, and there's been some great players that have played like this, but you're really limited. If you're down here playing basic chords, there's not a basic chord that you can't do. But you're down here at the end of the neck, and you're within a 4-fret span. Not really too difficult. Those are great chords. We all use them. Sometimes it's always about what the music calls for, and it calls for basic cowboy chords. Hey, they work great. There's been some great music written that way. However, when you move into more advanced chord structures, it's going to be more demanding of your hands. There are certain things on the guitar you just cannot do, and without getting too far into it, let's say we're going to do a diminished chord, which is a series of it's two minor thirds stacked on top of each other, and that's this right here. And that's just the root, the third, and the fifth. If you're going to play a full-on diminished seventh chord, you have to get another note down here, and you're not going to be able to do that. So the guitar involves many times we're going to have to structure our chords in a different fashion. I use the 4-way drop 2, 4-way drop 3 versions, which are pretty standard among jazz players. And I am not a jazz player, which we'll talk about later. However, if you try to play, let's say, a chord maybe many of you haven't played yet. Well, here's a great 6th chord. Actually, that's a minor 6th. Okay. Here's a 6th chord. Here's a minor 6th. Okay. Honestly, if you're down and you're trying to play this chord down here, let's say in first position, oh boy, that is tough to do. That is really, actually, I think it's probably impossible to do. My point is, you have to get the neck up. You can't, once again, if I have it down this way, I'm adapting my body to the guitar. I have to lean over and get that hand up in there, and that's one chord that, unless you've got extraordinarily big hands, you're just not going to be able to do it. But the point is, the guitar neck has got to be pointed up at about 45 degrees, a 45-degree angle. If you stand up with your guitar with a strap on and you're holding it correctly, not trying to look cool by having it down around your waist, your guitar, when you stand up, is going to be just about like this right here. Now, classical guitarists, I even do this with electric sometimes. I will use what's commonly called an A-frame. There are other options, but these things work really good. They're really easy to put away in your guitar case with your guitar, and it just sticks on here with suction cups like so. But it just, you're just seated, both feet are flat on the floor, although I do mine just a little slightly different. And the guitar, once again, the neck is pointed up at about a 45 degree. Everything is really accessible. It's easy to play. That's really what it's all about. So I encourage you from the very beginning, get out of the habit of just grabbing your guitar, and just tossing it up on your right leg and trying to sit around and play like this. If you're just playing basic stuff down at the end of the neck, basic chords, you won't have any trouble. But as you begin to try harder and harder things and get better and better, and things get more and more difficult, you're going to have to get this thing up here like this. Okay. Now this, for a classical guitar player, does not work quite so well, because you need the support to hold the guitar in place. You don't want to use any part of your body to keep the guitar in position, whether you're trying to use your left hand to hold it up, because you're going to have to move that, or trying to leave your arm on the guitar like this, your right arm, it will hold it. But sometimes you'll have to move your arm back and forth, so that doesn't work. You need some type of support. So that's it for today. That's it for this lesson, how to hold a guitar. I hesitate to say how to hold a guitar properly. That's probably a good term, but really it's more like how to hold a guitar the best way. It's going to help you be the best player that you can be. All right. Thanks for watching. We'll see you another time.